Well, thank you, Lieutenant Governor, for making time to share with us today about the work that you're doing, particularly during this session. As you know, January is Poverty Awareness Month and a time when we all recognize the legacy of Dr. Martin Luther King. And so we want to take an opportunity to share with our community the great work of servant leaders like yourself who are working to make sure that we have laws and policies that help us live our best lives. For our United Way and United Ways across the state, our focus is particularly those who are working and still living paycheck to paycheck. So, with that in mind, would you share your perspective on on our state's most pressing needs?
Yes, thank you so very much for having me, first of all. And I want to say thank you, all of you who are working to help the underprivileged. Thank you very much for, it's a sacrifice. It is because you're trying to find resources to help those who are most in need. And you might have known that part of my background is I was a homeless shelter director for women and their children. And bringing them in literally out of the cold and finding blankets and such for them. And then once they were in, feeding them and helping them to find jobs, helping them to fill out application forms. And yes, sometimes helping them to say, if you don't want to help yourself, unfortunately, I can't force you. But if you're going to stay here in your sound mind and body, that's what we're trying to do. We're not going to help you fail. And of course, you know what I mean when I say that. And the fact that when my dad came to America, he came with only $1.75 in his pocket. So it's really understanding how it is to have no income or low income is a part of my history. So what we know the pressing needs are in Virginia, of course, is always resources. And if we're going to help you to, for example, get into a job, daycare is a problem. It is so costly. And I experienced that when I went back into the workforce because, my goodness, at some point it felt like I was working for the daycare provider because all of my money went to daycare. And so Governor Youngkin has put it in the budget that it started out with $440 million, serious money, $440 million to help people who want to come back into the workforce to have daycare opportunities where, all your paycheck doesn't go for that. And then, of course, when we do that, then we have to have, well, skills. If you want to move up in your income level, well, we have so many different programs. If you are able to get to the Virginia Economic Department of Development's website, we have so many programs that we can help you get a skill, whether it's a trade, as I had when I was in the Marine Corps. I'm a journeyman electrician. And so I know all about, working out in the field in the cold, digging holes and all that. But if you want to trade, there is opportunity. Please go to the website. And then, of course, we have cybersecurity. You can get a cybersecurity certificate in, I think, 6 months to a year, and you can get a really good six-figure income right off the bat. And then, of course, there are nursing programs. If you're a returning veteran, we have the V3 program to help you to get the skills that you knew in the military translated into civilian life, because it doesn't so easily translate. And I have experience with that too. Gosh, maybe I'm talking to a younger version of myself, because I think when we personalize what's happening, then we can more understand what the people we serve are going through. And then, of course, if you want to be a business owner, we have programs for that too. So you're not just wanting to have maybe a job, a career, but you wanting to be the job creator yourself. You want to be the entrepreneur. We can help you with that. If you again go to the VEDP website, you can see the various programs. We can help you to write grants. That was a big deal, when I started my business, wanting to get who can help me get the grant so that I can help my company get off the ground. Or if you want, you are a woman owned business, a veteran owned business, a minority owned business, whatever it is, we have programs for that. You know what I'm finding as you ask me, what are the needs, the greatest needs? And I'm thinking we have so many programs, and you've probably seen and people just don't know about them. And it's almost a waste. If we have it, but you don't know, then what are we doing? And so part of what I'm trying to do is to communicate more, use the pulpit that I have to push information out on my official website. You can see, you may have a business, it's just starting, and believe it or not, you can go on trade missions with the Virginia delegation. Most people didn't know that. I didn't know that until I became lieutenant governor. And so if I don't know it, you don't know it. I'm taking too much time answering this question, but the needs are great. And we're
They
here to.
are. And I appreciate you sharing. United Way of the Virginia Peninsula and United Ways across the state work to stand in that gap to connect the needs of the people we serve to the resources that we know are available. It's an ongoing challenge that so many of us are trying to tackle. I also very much appreciate the acknowledgement that an investment in childcare is not just to ensure that our future generations have the best chance at a successful future, but definitely impacts our workforce and our economy today so that folks can get into the workforce. So thank you very much for sharing that. Um,
Absolutely.
can you talk a little bit about the policies that you believe will have a direct impact on working families living paycheck to paycheck, in addition to the investment in childcare?
Yes. So I mentioned, I may have answered this question, just some of the things I've already said, where if you succeed, Virginia succeeds, because it's that cycle in the economy where you have a great job, and you, of course, you purchase things because you have the monies for it. Maybe you buy a car, a better car. Maybe you buy an appliance, a refrigerator, microwave, whatever, and then the cycle continues where that money then comes into the government, and then we are able to push it out in investments for other things. And now here we go again. So when you succeed, then Virginia succeeds. So it behooves your government to help you as much as it can to succeed. And that means we've got to make sure education is available. As we're talking about resources and those who do not have, as a former prison ministries leader, I have been visiting prisons, and there we are offering for those who want it and who want to leave better than when they were incarcerated. We have jobs programs for them. We have, for example, carpentry. We have AutoCAD. We have mechanic skills and certifications. We have computer skills. We have GED programs. We have whatever, at least 7 or 6 different programs, depending on wherever they're incarcerated, because we don't throw people away. We want everyone, because everyone has God-given gifts and talents, and we need all of those because we want them to leave and be the mommies and daddies that their children need them to be. And so we're trying to help even those who are incarcerated. And when we talk about education, of course, education is where everything starts. I understand that education lifts all boats. And whether that is a trade, whether that is going to college, whatever that is, we have to have an educated workforce, because we can't talk about providing jobs for you if the jobs aren't here. That means Virginia has to be attractive to businesses, to the job creators, and they're not coming if we don't have an educated workforce, and they're not coming if our workforce is undereducated. And so if we want the higher paying jobs, so that when you have even more of an education, you can move into those fields, then we've got to make sure you're on the right path. So We have to keep the taxes low for sure. We want to keep your taxes low, which is why we've given back to you over $5.2 billion of your own tax money so that you can use it in whatever way you want. And goodness, we could be here forever again. I'm going to put a link on my website. Every so often, I tee it up to say, these are the programs that we have that you may not be aware of. There are small business association programs to help you with what you don't know about the business world and who is there to help you. For example, we have mentorship and apprenticeship programs. We're so very proud of them, where even if your child is in high school, they can have those jobs, those internships, those apprenticeships now, so that when they leave high school, they can have income that will help them if they want to go to college, or they will have the monies and the skills that they can move right into the workforce. For example, we have welding programs. My father was a master welder. Welders make a ton of money. And we know plumbers make a lot of money, electricians make a lot of money, and they don't have the student loans that they have to repay. In fact, we are paying people on the job for those skills because we don't have enough of them. We don't have enough nurses. We don't have enough teachers. There's so many. We have over 250,000 well-paying jobs at every skill level that is still available. So we're going to tee that up again.
Well, I'm glad that you're sharing that with folks so they can definitely check that out. And finally, you have such a great vision for our state and how folks can grow and live comfortably here in Virginia. Share with us your favorite quote and how you incorporate it into your role as Lieutenant Governor.
Well, I have to admit, I have two quotes, and I don't want to get emotional here, but one of them, Dr. King, as we're talking about Dr. King and his legacy, and what a legacy he has. In Jamaica, as most of you know, I was born in Jamaica, and everybody has to have a job no matter how old or young you are. And so there I was, 6 years old, 5 years old. I had to dust. That was my job. And so I was the one reaching up and dusting Dr. King's picture on the wall. And then I come full circle and I met his widow, Coretta Scott King. And I thought about that. And so for me, he plays a major role in my life still, because what he said was, hate can't drive out hate. Only love can do that. And it's biblical, of course, that we have to love each other. And when we love each other and when we treat our neighbor as ourselves, and we'll interact with each other differently. It doesn't mean that you don't call out things that are wrong. It simply means that we try to somehow do it in love. And then the other quote that is very important, I think, to all of us, again, is Nelson Mandela. Nelson Mandela said, I never lose. I either win or I learn. That, my friends, is an awesome quote, because if we consider ourselves as victors, no matter what happens to us, well, there's a different mindset that goes into that. You understand that we are overcomers. Life hits you hard, and life waits for no one. And time, we cannot ever get back. So we cannot continue to look back. There's nothing back there. What we learn is we must learn from whatever mistake it was or whatever victory it was, and we go forward. We jump over hurdles, because that's what we're going to have to do. No matter how rich you are, there will always be hurdles. And if we don't have hope, if our children don't have a future, as we say, then we get nowhere. Because if we fix here, oh, there's nothing we can't accomplish. We will say, this too we shall overcome. This too we shall overcome. This too we shall overcome. And we just have to look, for example, at those whose shoulders we're standing on, who've broken barriers for us, who understand that people have died to bring us this far. And we must continue. We must have America preserved for the next generation. We must make the darkness tremble. Education will do that. Hope will do that. Love will do that. Accountability, making your government accountable to you, will do that. We have to remember that in America, we are the government, and we must make our elected leaders listen to us. That's what we do. We've been given that great ability, and that's why I am here before you to answer your questions and for you to say, I need help in whatever area. How are you going to do that for me?
Well, Lieutenant Governor, again, it's been such an honor to meet you, to hear from you. Thank you so much for making time in your busy schedule to share with the constituents, particularly on the Virginia Peninsula, but across the state. I hope you have a wonderful afternoon, and thank you again for your time.
Please come down and see your Senate in action. Come and look us in the face. Come and tell us, this bill I don't like, or this bill I do like, or next time I want you to put in this bill to help this, this, and this. Come and see us. This is your government. As that part about of the people, by the people, and for the people. Well, as we say in Virginia, y'all are the people.
That's right. So I'll be seeing you soon.
Take care, everybody.
Thank you very much. Have a great day.
Thank you. You too. And
Bye
I'm going to
bye.
post those links for you to see.
Thank you. Thank you.
Take
Take
care.
care.